I have figured out the easiest way to make these beautiful and delicious candied orange slices. You will not believe how easy it is. First things first, start out with a nice firm orange. I prefer navel, but you can use any variety you want. Just make sure it's nice and firm, no soft spots, okay? You need a half of a cup of water, half of a cup of sugar. We're gonna make a simple syrup here. You might say, wait a minute, we gotta cook that. We're going to. Just kind of whisk it a little bit together and then pour it into the inner pot of your pressure cooker. All right, to prep the orange, you're gonna cut off each end. Try to make your slices pretty straight, that's important. Then, depending on how you want your orange slices to be, you can either continue to cut them in about a 1/4 inch slice all the way through to make nice rounds, or you can do what I do, which makes it a whole lot easier, let me tell you. And that is to slice it in half and then make your slices. You want the slices no less than 1/8 of an inch and no more than 1/4 of an inch. When your orange is all sliced up, just lay it in a single layer, the bottom of your pressure cooker. All right, the oranges will not be all the way under the liquid. That's perfectly fine. Close your pressure lid, set it up for pressure cooking. Make sure your valve is sealed. Turn your pressure cooker on. We want to go on high pressure. 0 minutes, my friends, okay? Which means that we're just going to let it come up to pressure and then we're gonna do an immediate release. If your pressure cooker doesn't have the option to go to 0, go to 1, but as soon as it switches over to pressure cook, do an immediate release and turn the machine off. Once they are finished and the steam is released, you're gonna put them on a rack to dry. If you're gonna dry them at room temperature, you're gonna want the rack to be elevated, but I'm gonna take a shortcut and put mine in the dehydrator, so I'm gonna put them flat on this surface. Now, unfortunately, you're not gonna wanna use this syrup for any kind of an orange infused simple syrup because during the pressure cooking time, it draws out the bitterness of the rinds of the orange, okay? So you're just gonna wanna discard that. All right, so pop these in a dehydrator at 120 degrees for about 2 hours, and then we'll finish them up with a little bit of sugar. So once the orange slices are in the dehydrator for about 2 hours, you can check them. They should feel a little bit tacky, but not really wet. They are bendable. Now remember, we're not dehydrating these, we were only drying them, and there's a big difference because we want them to be chewy when we eat them. Now you just drop them into some sugar. I have a half of a cup of sugar. Really, there's no measurement there. You just want enough to lightly coat them. And I really don't like to leave them in the sugar. I like to just lightly coat them and then take them out, put them back on the drying rack until I use them. If you're not gonna use them the same day, you can leave them in some sugar, but definitely put them in the refrigerator. When I left them at room temperature, they ended up leaking their juice out, which got the sugar wet, which got them wet again. Then I had to go through the drying process all over. So don't do that. Put them into the refrigerator, and it's probably best that they're in a single layer on a parchment line tray or something in the refrigerator, and just sort of lightly coat them with some sugar. All right, so I'm gonna do this for all of them and then set them aside because I'm using them on my delicious mimosa cupcakes today. And that is all there is to it. So you can make delicious candied citrus peels. You can do the same process with lemons, limes, grapefruits, or oranges. They make great garnishes for cocktails. They are perfect as a topping for a cake or cupcakes. And you can honestly just eat them. They are so good. Oh my goodness. Wow. Not bitter at all. Orange flavor's fantastic. That little bit of sugar. They're chewy. They're sweet. They're a little tart. Oh my gosh, they're amazing.